Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's FPA State of FPA virtual update. I always have to mess it up right up front. I'm Claudia Kane, 2025 FPA past president. Thank you so much for joining us today. I have a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. All lines have been muted. If you have a comment or question, please post it in the chat area. If you can't find the chat area, go down to the little reactions option on your screen and open it up. Questions will be addressed later in the presentation, so please be sure to add them to the chat. We are recording today's update, which we will make available in the coming days. Today's update provides an overview of the association's efforts to support our members and the profession over the past year. Today is also an opportunity to provide an update on the organization's financial health now that our 2024 audited financial statements have been finalized. And because we must wait until the preceding year's audited
financial saying that the 545 was credited
are available, we are pleased to make our 2024 annual report available. You can find the 2024 audited financial statements and the 2024 annual report on the FPA website at www.financialplanningassociation.org/about. Joining me to lead us through today's updates are Paul Brom, 2025 FPA President. He will provide an FPA strategic update. Dennis Moore, FPA Chief Operating Officer and Interim CEO, will provide an operational update. Dan Galley, 2025 President-elect, will provide an overview of FPA's financial processes. And Adam Kaczynski, partner at Wagner CPAs, FPA's external auditor, will provide an overview of FPA's audited financial statements. And now I will turn things over to FPA Interim CEO, Dennis Moore. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. Hi, everybody. I'm certainly honored and humbled to have the opportunity to serve as an interim CEO and continue moving the association forward in close collaboration with our national and local volunteer leaders and professional staff. FPA means the world to me. It's been part of my career since I began college at Texas Tech. I went on to become president of FPA of West Texas and then FPA of Dallas-Fort Worth, and then served on the FPA board of directors where I served as president in 2022. So as you can see, FPA has played an instrumental role in my career, and I'm just so grateful to be part of the team. This year, we're honored to celebrate a remarkable milestone, the 25th anniversary of the merger between the International Association for Financial Planning and the Institute of Certified Financial Planners that resulted in the formation of the Financial Planning Association. For 25 years and in the preceding decades with the IAFP and ICFP, FPA has been a cornerstone of the financial planning profession, bringing together individuals, ideas, and resources to advance our shared mission. When we reflect on the past 25 years, what stands out most is the incredible community that's been built, one rooted in collaboration, education, and advocacy. FPA has been more than an organization. It's a trusted partner helping planners succeed and make a real difference in their clients' lives. This anniversary is a time to celebrate the values that have defined us and the progress we've made together, largely due to the dedication and leadership of the people in this Zoom today and for those who came before us. I encourage you to take pride in your part of this journey. You are the stewards of this legacy. And so here's to you in the next 25 years of FPA being your partner in planning. So membership in FPA isn't just about joining an organization. It's about belonging to a community. It's about being part of something larger than yourself, a movement to elevate financial planning and make a meaningful impact on the lives of others. Our members are the heart of everything we do, and we're continually evolving to meet their needs. Over the last year, we've introduced new benefits, strengthened our support systems, and expanded resource access. But we're not stopping there. We've got to continue to evolve our many offerings to meet our members who join the association from different backgrounds, experiences, and career stages. And so FPA has been busy over the last year. As you know, we've experienced a decline in membership due to the pandemic, like many associations across the globe, and it's taken years to recover. But we believe we've turned the corner. In 2024, we saw a year of stabilization for FPA. Membership has grown to just over 17,000 professionals. We've had a membership retention increase of 2% over the year end of 2023. And for our CFP first year complimentary trial member program that we have, we actually doubled our anticipated retention rate, experiencing a 38% retention rate in 2024 for that program. And so in 2025, it looks to be a great year of continued growth and stability with a focus on next-gen development and partnership, growing our student communities, continued support for the CFP trial members, and enhanced membership recruitment efforts. As we continue to work to drive our unmatched value for our membership, we're proud to plant a stake in the ground to make FPA a leader in developing the behavioral competencies and skills critical to today's financial planners. The FPA competency model is a powerful new framework that supports every planner, no matter where they are in their career stage. It's intentionally focused on the behaviors and interpersonal skills that define excellence in financial planning, the traits that drive connection, leadership, and real-world impact. This model doesn't just acknowledge technical proficiency, it emphasizes the human side of planning, how we show up, how we lead, how we think, how we care and communicate with our clients and our communities. And this has been in development for years. Actually, in 2020, the FPA Board of Directors approved the launch of this competency model and the Competency Model Task Force, which was made up of practitioners and academics who represented a wide range of experience, firm types, and perspectives on financial planning. They spent many months conducting interviews, holding focus groups, and reviewing data. And what resulted from all of that work is this framework that we've launched, this competency model. This framework is rooted in 6 core behavioral domains: interpersonal impact, professionalism, leadership, critical thinking, client communication and care, and advancing the financial planning profession. You can now access a self-guided assessment to better understand your current strengths and growth areas. We've begun aligning all of FPA's content, from the Journal of Financial Planning to on-demand learning, live webinars, conferences, and more, to the competency model, so you can see exactly how the content provided through your membership aligns with the skills that you need most. The FPA competency model is about clarity, intention, and most of all, giving you the tools to lead with purpose and impact for the next 25 years and beyond. We're also working to help our members elevate their voices and showcase their expertise to the public. So I'm very excited to share that some important updates that we've made to FPA Media Source. That's our automated media platform that connects participating members with journalists nationwide and has sent over 90 or almost 9,200 journalist queries to participating FPA members. Very soon, we're going to roll out an updated system with a fresh new look and a feel that's modern, intuitive, and designed to enhance the overall user experience for both the members and the journalists. The new functionality reflects the needs of our community. Participating members will be able to access and review their past submissions, which can help for compliance tracking, personal references for upcoming interviews, and the like. This is one of the real gems of FPA membership. And so if you're interested in learning more, please reach out to Ben Lewis. He's more than happy to chat with you about this great program. Also, very soon we'll be underway in updating and improving FPA Planner Search. This is our consumer-facing tool that helps our consumers find and engage with CFP professional members of FPA. In this next iteration, we're streamlining the user experience to make it even easier for consumers to search and contact planners. The updated site will feature a cleaner, more simplified design with a stronger emphasis on the search function, which is the heart of why people visit the site. These enhancements, along with some integrated lead generation and behind-the-scenes improvements, will help strengthen connection between planners and the public while reinforcing the visibility and credibility of our CFP professional members. We're targeting a late summer, early fall relaunch, and look forward to sharing much more as we approach that time. We've also made 2 recent announcements on a couple of certificate programs available through FPA. First, we were pleased to announce the renewal of our partnership with the Psychology of Financial Planning Specialist Program, an advanced learning program designed to equip financial planners with essential skills to deepen those client relationships and enhance their advisory practices. Developed by Dr. Brad Klontz and Dr. Charles Chafin, this 9-hour program provides members with a structured approach to understanding client behaviors, money beliefs, and communication strategies. Members who complete the program earn the Psychology of Financial Planning Specialist badge and CFP professionals earn 9 continuing education credits. We've also partnered with FCI Cyber and Buckler LLC to launch the new Cybersecurity for Financial Planners, an FPA certificate program. This comprehensive, self-paced, on-demand course is designed for financial planners operating practices of all sizes. It combines essential knowledge with real-world applications and self-assessments, enabling you to manage the complexities of cybersecurity and compliance. You receive a certificate of completion, and the program also qualifies for 3.5 CFP CE credits. So as you can see, lots going on here at FPA with much more to come. And before I do hand it off to our president-elect, I just want to take a minute to thank each of you for not only for your membership, but all that you do for your clients, the association, and the profession. So thank you all very much. And now it's my pleasure to turn it over and introduce FPA President-elect Dan Gallick.
Thank you, Dennis. Appreciate that. Well, before I introduce our external auditor, I wanted to just provide a couple of details on FPA's fiscal governance and the FPA Finance Committee. So the FPA Finance Committee, which includes 6 members of the FPA Board of Directors, and it's led by our 2025 FPA Treasurer, Russell Clifford, provides a critical financial oversight and required checks and balances by meeting monthly to review and oversee the association's monthly financials, quarterly forecasts, and business operations. The committee provides oversight on 2 critical financial policies, the delegation of authority policy and the financial and investment philosophy statement, which include oversight of invested reserves and financial metrics. The committee directly engages Wegner CPAs, who provide attestation and tax return preparation services for the association. And lastly, this committee governs the annual budget production, including the association's capital investments. And now to walk you through the 2024 audited financial statements, I'll turn things over to Adam Kaczynski, who's the Senior Manager of Audit and Assurance at Wegner CPAs, FPA's external auditor. Adam?
Thanks, Dan, and thanks everyone for having me again today. And it's just great hearing all the great things happening at the association from Dennis and others. And it's just interesting in my perspective as an accountant, not in the financial planning realm, but just hearing the similar trends that you all see with your membership and just initiatives within your industries. So we're going through this together. And Ben, if you wouldn't mind moving to the next slide, thank you. Similar to last year, all good things on coming from us, from the audit firm. Should be no surprise that there were no difficulties encountered during the audit, no audit adjustments, and just want to give a quick shout out to Dennis and his team for the work that they put into the audit process. Those top 2 bullet points are important, and we appreciate the conscientious effort that they put into the audit process. The third bullet point, similar to last year and years prior to us coming on as auditors, we are issuing an unmodified opinion on your financial statements, indicating that they are fairly presented in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the U.S. or GAAP. As a reminder, that is the highest level of assurance we can provide as your external auditor. And just as important, if not more important than the financial statements themselves, we walk through the internal control processes, gain an understanding of how items are processed both coming in and out of the organization. And with that, we do not have any material weaknesses or significant deficiencies to report in your internal control processes. And again, that's a kudos to Dennis and the rest of the association team, because they do reach out throughout the year, especially as turnovers occurred over the past year or so. It's been very helpful for us to stay in constant contact and avoid reporting on a weakness or deficiency in internal controls. Then to briefly touch on the numbers at a high level, on the screen we have our consolidated statement of financial position or balance sheet as of December 31st, 24 and 23. And overall in a healthy financial position. I'll touch on some trends on the next slide, but you have $5.6 million of assets at year end compared to just under $3.3 million of liabilities. And just speaking in very broad strokes here, any fluctuations you see here are purely driven by timing of the association receiving and paying invoices, or members or corporate customers paying the association. Just will quickly highlight, investments did take a dip despite favorable market conditions. That's not due to a draw or anything like that on investments. It was just the moving of money from one bucket to another bucket, and that other bucket is now a cash or cash equivalent sitting in cash right now. So that's the biggest flux on your financial statements, but it's not due to a true draw on investments. And Ben, if you can move to the next slide, thank you. Here, just want to highlight some trends in net assets. So this is your overall net assets, net financial position at the end of each year, going back all the way to 2018. And just the one piece I want to touch on here, Dennis mentioned earlier in the call the challenges that associations and entities in general are facing in the post-pandemic world and kind of coming out of that. I think this chart illustrates it greatly, because while I focus a lot of my time in the association space, this could be any of the nonprofit organizations I work with on an annual basis. Seeing that dip into 2020 with the pandemic, that post-pandemic bump from CARES Act funding, and that CARES Act funding drying up, going away, and in this new reality where it's been flat for a couple of years now. Some modest growth in 2024. If I do 10 calls like this in a month, eight or nine of them are going to look just like this, just with different numbers. So I know it's been challenging times for all, but you're on par with everyone else kind of going through this together. So I did want to highlight that. And real quick before we move on, that $2.3 million, that is approximately 3.5 or so months of expenses in your net assets at year end. That's what we like to see. 3 months is our minimum before we start having different conversations, or like I say, once we start dipping below 2 is when we have different conversations, but 3 is kind of that benchmark that we like to see at organizations. So again, right on par with your peers. Then lastly, I just have the statement of activities or income statement for 2024 and 2023. And again, not to sound like a broken record, but this is very on par with the association space right now. Your dues dipping slightly, I'd say just in general in the associations that we're working with. We're seeing a delta of 5%, good or bad, each year, and you're right in that for dues, for growth or decline, and you're right in that delta. And that typically drives a lot of other revenue streams, though. Event registration up this year, despite that dip in membership dues. Again, seeing that a lot in this post-pandemic world, where 2024 is really the year that we've seen so far that this boom has happened. But overall, a good year. Change in net assets of about $250,000. So that's your net income for the year. And while that is driven in a good portion by that investment return, it's still a better operating year in 24 compared to 23. And you were able to reduce costs in a very various areas in 24 compared to 23. And so that's a high level look at the audit process and the financial statements for 2024. And with that, I will turn it back over to Paul to talk through strategic initiatives.
Thanks so much, Adam. And I want to say thank you to the staff and to the board and to you, Adam, for engineering a remarkable recovery after the pandemic. Thank you so much to everybody. And thank you for everybody who tuned in today to learn more about the state of the FPA. So let's move on through our strategic update. Patrick Mahoney was a big part of the re-engineering of the association, and we were all very deeply saddened by his passing on February 1st. He served very honorably as our chief executive officer for over 5 years and joined our association at an extraordinarily pivotal time in our history. He worked diligently to reform and reshape our association, and he focused significantly on internal structure and financial stability while nurturing our relationships with key stakeholders. Just did a remarkable job. He took every opportunity to publicly and privately applaud the work of our members, consistently advocating for the value and the importance of our profession. Patrick unwaveringly believed in the profession of financial planning and its potential impact on society. While we miss him deeply, We are also grateful to have Dennis Moore as our interim CEO. Dennis brings a steadfast passion for FPA to our operations, while our board of directors engages in an extensive search for the association's next full-time CEO. Per our governance, a CEO search committee has been formed and is currently working through its process. The committee, which past President Evelyn Zolan is chairing, is comprised of a really diverse group of extraordinary and engaged volunteers. FPA was really intentional in selecting these committee members. It includes former national presidents, current board members, advisory council representation, and those who understand FPA's operations and the important role that the CEO will play. The committee meets regularly and is focused on completing this process as soon as possible without compromising the process's integrity. In addition to identifying our next full-time CEO, the other most immediate focus is ensuring the long-term strategic plan that the board of directors finalized in December of 2023. We want to make sure that comes to fruition. While our outstanding professional staff is working on other operational and programmatic initiatives to support our members, their work to execute the strategic plan is going to set the association up for long-term success. As for where we stand on that plan's implementation, well, last year, 2024, we focused on research and analysis that laid the foundation for the work that needs to be done over the next 2 years. Remember, this is a 10-year strategic plan. The plan set out a pretty bold vision of where we want the association to be in 2034. So the efforts of the last 18 months will set us up for success in evolving our practice support, learning, advocacy, and networking service lines that many programs and offerings you enjoy as part of your membership, right? We move from strategy to tactics, and that has to be informed by thoughtful research and analysis. While we work to advance the association's long-term strategic plan, we are equally committed to our immediate goals and objectives, including those within advocacy. FPA advocacy staff and volunteer leaders from the Public Policy Committee have continued to synthesize data pertaining to the financial planner's legal and regulatory recognition through title protection from various opportunities for input from members as well as external stakeholders. At the FPA Chapter Leader Conference in January, we had 2 sessions dedicated to the title protection effort, a main stage update that featured Q&A with the board and staff and Public Policy Committee leadership, as well as a breakout session where members participated in a very deep dive discussion about where title protection efforts should go next. The staff and volunteer leaders have also continued to discuss title protection with external stakeholders, including other industry associations, regulators, firms, and even university partners. We want to get this right. With guidance from the Public Policy Committee, the FPA will prioritize identifying our tangible next steps for the title protection effort this summer and fall. And we look forward to providing you with a further update as soon as those determinations are made. Besides title protection, our other public policy priorities remain the same. Financial literacy, it's enormous, tax-related issues, and fee structures. To that end, we've continued to submit letters of support and conduct grassroots advocacy through voter voice campaigns on financial literacy legislation nationwide. California scored a very big win with the passage of AB 2927 in June of 2024, which implements a required standalone half credit of financial literacy for students to graduate from high school. Enormous. We have also seen several important wins at the state level on tax issues. In Maryland and Minnesota, for example, proposed professional services taxes Impacting us, financial planners, were what? Defeated. Specifically in Minnesota, the FPA members testified during 2 legislative hearings and held meetings with relevant committee leadership and sent more than 700 emails to legislators across the state to educate lawmakers on the negative unintended consequences of this tax on consumers seeking financial planning services. FPA has also been part of an important coalition of financial services organizations advocating for various measures in the 2025 federal tax legislation. Besides sending thousands of emails and calls to members of Congress, FPA has participated in more than 24 meetings with lawmakers over the past year, including a 2024 DC Advocacy Week with members of the FPA Executive Committee and a 2025 DC Advocacy Week with about a dozen FPA members who were local in the DC area. In the House version of the tax package, we successfully advocated for the inclusion of the Freedom to Invest in Tomorrow's Workforce Coalition, which expands the eligible uses of 529 savings plans to include expenses for earning and maintaining private certifications like the CFP certification, and making permanent and expanding the Section 199A qualified business income deduction that was created in the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act and is set to expire at the end of 2025. Now, importantly, one of the really important vehicles we have at our disposal to elevate the collective voice of financial planners among those who have the power to influence the trajectory of our profession is through our FPA Political Action Committee. It's the only federally registered political action committee focused on financial planners, focused on you. The FPA PAC gives our community a very critical voice. It allows us to forge relationships with lawmakers and tell our story, the financial planning story, on a very visible and impactful stage. In 2024, the FPA PAC contributed to campaigns of congressional candidates. A total of $20,000 was contributed to bipartisan candidates who have been leaders on issues important to FPA and our members, or held leadership positions on relevant committees. It's important to be clear. The FPA, the PAC, does not endorse candidates. A contribution simply reflects alignment on public policies critical to our shared mission, not our personal politics. Also, to support the FPA's PAC's long-term objectives, the PAC board recently hired a consultant specializing in association PACs to help our PAC, the FPA PAC, re-engage and grow after not contributing to campaigns for several years. So we really look forward to the progress in the months ahead, and I know they will communicate with you and all of our members about their progress. So with that, I want to wrap up kind of the strategic outlook of the session, and I want to take your questions. So if you have questions, put them in the chat, and we'll take those questions on. Don't all rush to get them in. I'll give you a couple more minutes to think about questions, and we will move on. All right, so here's a question. How does the PAC board decide which candidates to contribute? So it's about the issues. I want to thank you for that question. It's about the issues. Do those issues align with FPA's issues, and can we make impact, right, through that contribution? Now the questions are coming in. I love it. Is FPA going to start to offer new IARCE requirements being added to new states each year. And I think I'm going to toss that question to Dennis or to Christine.
Yeah, thank you, Paul, and thank you for the question. And so yeah, so FPA's had a partnership with the KITSIS speakers and kitsis.com for that IARCE over the last year or two. And so of course we're continuing to look at that requirement that our members are subject to and see how FPA can continue to lean in and help you fulfill those requirements.
Thanks so much, Dennis. And again, thanks for the question. Christine, can you weigh in on this next question? It's about the number of leads that were generated by the FPA in 2024 that were sent out to CFPs.
I'm assuming that's a media source question. Is that correct, Ben?
Could be planner search, right?
Right, or planner
Yeah.
search, I mean, yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, I think that's a planner search
Okay.
question. So a few years ago, planner search was, we had an issue with the lead gen portion of it. We had to actually remove that. The plan is for the lead gen portion to be added to the new iteration of planner search that's going to come out hopefully by later this summer, early fall. So we don't have a way of saying how many leads were sent out through planner search because that lead gen piece was removed because of some difficulties with it. But again, that's going to be added back.
Thanks so much, Ben. Appreciate that. Here's a good question. I find it interesting that there was no mention of CFP certification and being a membership association for CFP professionals. Thoughts? Our core member has been and always will be the certified financial planner, right? That is our core member. Of course, we're not a certifying body, so we can't comment on CFP certification, but you might remember from the earlier part of our discussion that we are offering membership to newly minted CFPs for free in the first year, and we're having about a 38% retention rate on those membership numbers, which to me is really exciting, right? That we bring new people into the association. So I hope that is helpful in an answer to your question. What time is it here? 4:35. We're getting close to time, but I do want to take these last couple of questions. How is membership enrollment trending? Christine, you got those numbers backward and forward. Talk to us.
We're trending pretty consistent with previous years. As Adam has mentioned, kind of in his financials, we're all in interesting times as we're rebounding and resetting what an association looks like post-pandemic. Our retention numbers are up, which is good because that's your first indication of organizational health, is how many people are staying, because it's always harder to get someone to stay than it is to get someone to join. And so that's where our core strength is right now, is with the retention. But we are having some good success with our CFP complimentary program, which is a nod to some of the other questions I'm seeing in there, to our important relationship with the CFP board. And we continue to work programs like our Ameriprise program and our group memberships, in which we're seeing growth across the board. So it takes a long time to see those numbers actually positively shift long term, but we're feeling very good, and we are seeing the important numbers start to shift up.
Fantastic. Thank you, Christine. Quick question about the Money Magazine survey. Are we going to do this again? And the answer is yes. Ben, do you have anything that you want to add to that?
Yeah, we're sure thing, Paul. Yeah, we are in conversations with the group, with the folks over at Money right now, to see what we learned from the last iteration, to see how we can apply that to the next version. If in fact we are moving forward and it looks like we're going to, the questionnaire will go into field sometime later this summer, and it will be announced at one point around the annual conference like it was last year.
Fantastic. It's always good to learn, right? From what we did to improve and make things better as we go. Do we have any other questions? Going once?
There is a question in there from Ed, who's asking about the
there it
relationship with
is.
the chapters.
So
Go ahead, Paul.
yeah, go ahead, please, Christine. Yeah.
I was typing a response. So we continue to love, love, love our chapters. Chapters are in-person experience, and we really appreciate the partnership with them. We've had the opportunity over the past year to bring in a lot more staff integration and support. So we're now working with each dedicated position, much like we used to, Ed, in the old days. We're going back to our old best practices, where we are having monthly meetings with some of our leaders. We are expanding CLC programming, and we are working one-on-one with chapter leaders on issues, opportunities, support. We are really intensifying our efforts to make sure that chapters have a voice, in addition to great opportunities like the advisory council that Ben helps us manage. We're really working with them. And a lot of the people on the screen right now could talk about all the travels they've had this year visiting chapters and their symposiums.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Christine and Ben. I deeply, deeply appreciate all the work that you do in chapters, because chapters are the lifeblood of this association. So thank you so much. I think we're getting up against time, and I want to thank everybody for their questions. I want to thank everybody for their time here, and I want to let you know that it's not just in these meetings that you ask questions. You can reach out to us directly, and with that, I'm going to turn it over to Claudia to wrap us up.
Great. Thank you, Paul. As we wrap things up, I want to emphasize really just what Paul just said, the importance of maintaining open communications. We do value our chapters. We value the input going back and forth between the chapters and us, and we do listen, and we're continuously working on that. So we've seen the value of increased proactive communication. We're committed to keeping those lines of communication open with all of you, and we ask each of you to do the same with us. I want to remind you all, I know Ben posted it, but the 2024 audited financial statements and 2024 annual report, along with the audited financial statements and annual reports from years past, are available to you. Just go to www.financialplanningassociation.org/about to access those. I must also add a plug for the FPA Annual Conference 2025, which will take place in Las Vegas from November 3rd through 5th. We hope you will all consider joining us at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas for what is going to be a fun celebration of our community and the 25th anniversary of our association. And I did see in my email today, there's some little teaser things about specials that are going to be out there. So keep your eyes open to your emails and get registered as quickly as possible, because we're going to have a great time. I encourage everyone to learn more and register at fpaannual.org. I hope you join us for the celebration. Again, I want to thank everyone for joining us, taking time out of your day and letting us know that you value knowing what's going on with FPA, that you value your membership, and that you can continue to let us be your partner in planning. And with that, I thank you.